Hey, I just got back from lunch. Did you finish that report yet?
Well, not exactly. Still working on it. I'm not finished just yet. I got a little sidetracked, but I will get them to you first thing this afternoon.
It is first thing this afternoon.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I am working on
But
it. I'll have,
what do you mean that the report isn't finished yet?
I'm still in the process of working on it. I've just been a little distracted.
Distracted. Our meeting starts in an hour.
I can have it.
No. What were you doing? Were you listening to another hunting podcast again? I swear, I give the staff in this office the freedom to do whatever they want to do as long as they meet a deadline. That is the first bullet underneath your job description. Pays attention to detail and deadlines. And deadlines. With emphasis. Dude, are you even listening to me right now?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is summertime finally here in Pennsylvania, and we are looking forward to that November 2nd cold front where you're in a tree stand early in the morning and that buck of a lifetime walks out in front of you. Well, what are you going to do next? You have to draw your bow. You have to make the perfect shot. You have to send that arrow right through the vitals. But what if your bow's not tuned? What if you haven't been shooting all year? What if you haven't headed down to Williams Archery yet and got your bow tuned and got it shooting right so you can make that shot on November 2nd on a buck of a lifetime? I call that foolish, my friends, because you need to get down to see Ron and Linda Williams at Williams Archery. You need to get in there. You need to get your bow tuned up. You need to get those hands-on lessons. That's what it's going to take, guys. If you want to kill that buck of a lifetime, don't sit on your couch and say, hey, I want to kill a big buck. You need to get out and get your bow ready to kill that big buck. You need to go pick up the accessories that you need to kill that big buck. Where do you do it? Williams Archery, of course. I mean, it's the only place around here that I go to. It's my hometown. You know, Edinburgh, PA, that's just down the street from me. I grew up here. That's where I want to be when I have to depend on my bow to kill the buck of a lifetime. So give Ron and Linda Williams a call at 724-667-9660 and let them take care of you.
Welcome to episode 49 of the Whitetail Distraction Podcast. My name's Austin, and joining me from the softball field for the first time ever, Charles Headland. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. Episode 49. Oh, baby. A
Oh,
little more
baby.
than Big 5-0.
Little part 2 action, man.
That's right. Clint Casper
Clint
in the house,
Casper.
part 2.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. This is an episode. I mean, we just keep going. We keep rolling with Clint Casper. You get more of the same good Clint Casper. And I'm actually, you know what? I'm out here in the outfield, and I just found some chanterelles, it looks like.
I thought you were going
Up
to say you
against
found a shed or something.
No, they're either chanterelles or they might be chicken. I was going to say, I mean, it might be chicken, though. I don't know.
Oh,
I'll
Hen
have
of
to
the
go
Woods.
check that out. Yeah, I might have to go check that out after the game.
Gnarly, dude. Check it. Peep it. Peep it.
That's right.
Yeah, man. I can dig it, though. But Clint, man, he's back on. He's doing it all over again. It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, come on. It's Clint Casper. This is what we've been waiting for.
I agree.
This is what we look forward to. All these episodes. And episode 48 and 49, we finally get the guy pinned down in 2 great episodes.
I couldn't agree more, man. Let's get back into it.
Yep.
Here he is.
Having different points that, okay, I got to get to this point. Once I get to that point, I'm going to get to this next point. And it keeps you focused on the task at hand, because too many times when adrenaline kicks in and when we're pumped up, we lose focus of the small pieces to the big puzzle, and all we're looking at is the big puzzle. So then you rush and you make careless mistakes because all you're thinking about is the end result, not how to get there. So for me, it's, okay, I'm going to get my bow off the hook when he goes here. When he gets to that scrape, I know he's going to hit that scrape. That's going to give me time to get some ranges. Once he starts moving again, I need to get back to full draw. I know this opening's 27. I know that opening's 34. Depending on which way he goes, I might have to move my slider. Or, there's a series of events that I'm focusing on the task at hand to get this buck killed or antelope killed or whatever it is. But playing those little mind games and talking myself through each one calms me down. And it gets me focused on getting to the point of getting this animal killed. Because if you don't trick your mind into looking away from horns, or maybe it's just a doe and it's the first animal you're trying to kill your first deer with a bow, and it's a doe. All you're going to be literally thinking about or worried about is the end result. But if you don't play the little game to trick your mind into refocusing, you're probably going to screw it up because you're going to let adrenaline win. You're going to let nerves win. And I've always said this. I've said this on podcasts. I've wrote about it. By no means is this me trying to sound or be cocky. So a disclaimer right now, right off the rip, that this is, do not take this as, oh, Clint's trying to tell us what a badass he is, because that's not the point. But the mentality of me is, at this stage in my bow hunting career, if you let me get back to full draw, I'm going to kill you. Period. And it's a shooter mentality. I mean, you look at Kobe, you look at Jordan, you look at guys like that. They wanted the ball in their hands in the final seconds because every time they were in that moment, their mentality was, I will hit a game winner. I want the ball. You've got to have that confidence that if you get back to full draw, you're dead. And that's that shooter mentality. Like, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, dude, you come in here and let me get back to full draw, it's over. I'm killing you. I mean, and it is that is the mental edge that I have. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point, but now for me, and by no means am I saying that every time I draw my bow back and shoot at something, I hit it. Cause trust me, that's not the case. But, especially out west. But
we can't all be Brian Barney, man.
No, yeah. But the mentality there is, you've got to have that confidence in yourself that, okay, if you let me get back to full draw, I'm fucking killing you. Period. Bottom line. Period. And once you can get to that point where you've got that confidence and you've got everyone's got the ability to make a good shot on a buck and get him killed. But you've got to mentally have that in your head. Okay, dude, go ahead. Walk your big happy ass in here to 27 yards. Let me get back to full draw and see what happens. Like that mentality is confidence. And in the moment of truth, confidence is what gets bucks killed. I mean, you've got to have the confidence to make a shot and to get a buck, killed. I mean, that's just, confidence makes the world go round. I mean, if you're coming back to full draw and you're already like, man, I hope I hit this buck. Oh, dude, you are destined for disaster from the start. Like, it cannot be that way. It's gotta be, all right, you son of a bitch. You let me get back to full draw and you're freaking riding home in my pickup truck. That's bottom line. That's all there is to it. Yeah. And then once you get back to full draw, you've already got it in your head that I'm going to settle this pin. I'm going to freaking anchor. I'm going to start working through this release until the shot breaks. And when this shot breaks, you're dead. Period. That's it. That's the only way you can look at it. Doubting and questioning yourself, man, like you've already honestly potentially lost before you've ever even fired a shot.
Oh, definitely, dude. And I think that's so important because you can be the best scout in the world. You can find the deer. You can find the buck beds all day. You can get them into your stand consistently, one after another. But if you're not confident and you don't have the ability to like calm yourself down and make that shot, it doesn't matter.
And to go full circle on that, to gain confidence is by gaining experience doing it.
Absolutely.
That goes all the way back to the beginning.
That's what I mean. Shoot groundhogs, shoot does, bow hunt turkeys with your bow. If you get a chance to go frickin' out west, man, do an antelope hunt right off the rip. I mean, go and get experience. And with experience will come, knowledge. And with knowledge is going to come confidence. And then, man, it's like you're prepared and you're ready for these, these situations. I mean, there's no better teacher than getting your ass kicked. I mean, until you're in the moment and you get your ass kicked, that's when you go back and you're like, all right, man. So here's the deal. That didn't work out. Why? Why did that not work out? And that's, I think at times, like, don't get me wrong, everybody wants to hear a good success story. Everybody wants to hear, how do you kill big bucks, or how do you do this, or how do you do that? But man, I almost feel like people gain more from hearing about guys' failures and mishaps than they're ever going to hear or ever going to gain about hearing about how they got something killed, just because this is real world stuff. I mean, people deal with target panic. People deal with buck fever. People deal with, I want to go hunt spot and stalk, but I've never really done it. Like, so, like, what's the deal? me talking about a buck that I missed and why I missed and how I corrected it, in my opinion, gives listeners a hell of a lot more to gain than me just being like, yep, so shot a giant that was on his way to an oak flat that walked by me at 20 yards and I killed him. Like, that's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's great. That's awesome. But I think there's a lot of guys out there that they want answers to these questions, and it's like, dude, my failures are what have led to my success. And I think when guys start to sit back and really think about that, that's how the ball bounces. Like, everybody wants immediate success. Mm-hmm. They want to start bow hunting and they want to kill a 150.
Yeah.
Dude, you know how many hours, days, years, time it took me to kill my first, like, legit just Pope and Young with a bow? Just 120. And hell, nowadays, you tell someone you shot a 125 and they're like, oh, what the hell did you shoot that for? Like, people don't even realize how big a 125
exactly.
is.
Bro, that's what we shoot around here.
Yeah, I mean, last year, a friend of mine shot, I don't know, we roughed him. He was like a 127 inch straight clean 4x4, a beautiful 8.
Beautiful deer.
And I remember guys they're like, what the hell did you shoot that for? I'm like, you guys realize how big it takes to get an 8-point to go, a clean 8 to go Pope and Young? Well, then they come over to the house and they see this buck and they're like, oh, that's a giant. There ain't no way it's only 127. And I'm like, yeah, we just put a tape on him 3 times. He's 127. and they're like, oh, there's no way. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, see, here, this is what's wrong with the world today. People don't realize how big a 150 honestly is. Like, a 150 is a freaking
It's
toad.
giant, man.
Yeah.
It's giant.
A 125 is a freaking toad. Like, I mean, and trust me, I get it. Everybody watches the videos, and in the outdoor video world today, if you're not killing a booner or bigger, because that is what Mark and Terry Drury are doing, that's what Lee and Tiffany are doing, and hats off to them. Good friends of mine, love seeing them at the shows. But here's the thing, people. Stop basing your hunting off of what they're doing, because they have thousands of acres that they're able to manage, and they're able to hunt way differently than what any of us are going to do. So their standards are going to be way different. I mean, there's times where literally, me and Lee will trade back and forth like some photos here and there, and we'll talk about velvet bucks. Dude, he will let bucks walk this year that I wouldn't let walk 30 years from now. I still, at that point in my career, would not let that deer go by me. That he will not even grab his bow. I mean, just because that's, every year he's got a chance to hunt multiple deer that are going to be 190, 200, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm never going to have that hunting how I'm hunting. Never. That's just not even fathomable for me. Like, for the rest of my life, you put a 150, 160 in front of me every day on opening day, chances are, unless I have a gem in my pocket that's bigger that year, chances are I'm killing that deer every single year opening day. Like, you want to put
no
a 4
doubt
or 5
about
year
it.
old? Yeah, no doubt about it. And like I said, hats off to those guys, because they've worked their asses off to have the ground that they've got, and they put all their time and effort into it. They should be shooting deer like that. But mainstream America now, oh man, we can't, if it's not a booner, I'm not killing it. You realize how long you might wait to even hunt a booner?
Yeah.
I've got access to, I don't know. We farm about 1,300 acres, and mom and dad own probably, mom and dad's got about 500-600 that they own. Dude, between public and private, I've probably got access to a couple thousand acres. Easy. Right now, as we speak, I've got 11, 12 cameras running. I'm glassing all the time. I might have one buck right now that would flirt with gross boon. Maybe.
And that's impressive, man. Honestly,
one in thousands. And I'm blessed to have all the ground that I've got access to. Most guys have 100 acres or have 40 acres or have one piece of public they hunt or whatever. Like, I'm beyond blessed to be able to hunt what I hunt. And my point is that even with me, I potentially have one that's going to be a gross. So like the guy that says, okay, I'm only going to shoot a boot. Like, I get that, but just remember how hard that honestly is in the real world.
Yeah, and you're in Northeast Ohio, too. There's guys that are in states like New York or over here in Pennsylvania or, in the East that those bucks don't exist
I was going to say, yeah.
in your area.
I've got friends in Pennsylvania that live like over in the mountains, and they will never see a booner.
Right.
Never. I mean, they might go their whole life and never see a 170.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man.
So I mean, so it's just like, it's people have lost sight a little bit of how big just a Pope and Young buck is. I mean, dude, you get an 8 or a 10 to go 120, 130. I mean, it's a freaking good buck. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Like, You're not going to change my mind on that because I know how many inches it really, honestly, truly takes to get a deer to go 125, 130. And then you get up into that 150 and over mark, and dude, I mean, that's a stud.
That's a freaking tank, man.
Yeah.
Big.
I mean, stud all day. Like, but yeah, I just, like I said, it's kill what you want to kill and hunt how you want to hunt and do what you want to do. I'm totally all for that. But, yeah, man, that climbing the ladder thing, though, that's a big one for me. Like,
yeah,
man, don't bum rush right into, oh, I've got to be a big buck hunter because my friends are big buck hunters. Yeah, but your friends might have been hunting for 15 years and you just started. I mean, they've got a ton of experience, a ton of knowledge, a ton of screwing up under their belt, whereas you don't. Like, go make it fun for yourself. Don't make it a job. And I feel like people that try to compete with others, you're making it a job because you're trying to do something that makes someone else happy versus what really, because here's the deal. Most people will say, I'm only going to shoot a 150, but you put a 125 in front of them and they can't get their bow drawn back fast enough to shoot it.
or at all.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm just like, man, like, I get it. I totally get it. Like, I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to kill a 150. I mean, I trust me. I mean, it took me years to get that accomplished. Like, dude, I mean, years. Like, I mean, it was like, after I killed my first couple Pope and Youngers, I was just like, God, I want that next level buck. I want a 140, 150. But it's just a whole nother game, man. Like, you put another year or two on a whitetail buck and he goes from 3 to maybe like 5 or 6. Whole nother creature, dude. Like, just a totally different animal.
Oh, definitely.
Let me relate it to our listeners. If you haven't even slept with your sister's ugly friend yet, and you're trying to get with a prom queen, there's an issue. Okay?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I mean, by no means do I want it to come off as me trying to tell people in a negative way that you can't go kill a 150 without having experience, because that's not true either. I mean,
you can luck into one.
Oh, I mean, a kid down the street picked up a bow, shot a 140 his first year, and he's been killing good ones ever since. I mean, he literally just jumped into it and boom, off and running. I mean, and I'm not saying that can't happen, but a lot of guys, that will not be the case. And then the frustration sits in, and then it's not fun. And it's like, man, make it fun. It's fun to go out and kill stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Live in that moment of the fun aspect, and don't get tangled up into the inches or the, it's got to be a mature buck, it's got to be this, it's got to be, man, dude, like, frickin' 6 Point walks in and he gets your fucking heart racing. Kill him, dude. Like, that's what it's all about. I mean, frickin', you're gonna have a frickin' great meet. You're gonna have a cool story. You got a kill under your belt. Like, be proud of that shit. Don't, and that's the thing too. Like, you get into and I mean, you guys see it, I see it. You get into the social media wars on, oh, you shouldn't have shot that, or what'd you shoot that for? And it's just like, man, like, I hate seeing, like, I'm not even going to get on that tangent because it just, like, that shit drives me nuts. Like,
yeah,
dude,
I've left hunting pages because of it.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah, like,
I'm not going to sit around and
you
listen to this
see,
stuff.
I mean, I see somebody kill something with a bow. I don't care what it is. And I'm like, dude, good for you. Like, any kill with a bow, in my opinion, like, there is no such thing as a bad bow kill.
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
every bow kills a trophy, man.
Yeah,
Said it for years.
Like, it is like, I mean, I'll never forget to this day, I shot a little basket 8 over there close to you guys on some public in Pennsylvania. I hunted for 4 or 5 days in November, shot my buck here in Ohio, went over to Pennsylvania, shot this little basket, come back, and my buddies are like, we don't understand. You just shot a 140 here, and you went over there and killed a 2-year-old. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I also had to freaking use a canoe, had to hunt off my back, had to figure out what this public even had, got my ass kicked for 3 days, went 2.5 days of all day hunting, didn't see a deer. I sat dark till dark Tuesday, Wednesday, and part of Thursday before I ever even saw a deer, had a yearling doe come by. The next day, switched locations up, went on the other side of this piece of public, had to raft my way in, or float my way in with this frickin' canoe that I had, and I borrowed from my buddy, and this buck come in at like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, yep, and smoked him, and they're like, we don't understand. How could that even get you excited? I'm like, how could it get me excited? I'm like, I almost went 3 fucking days without seeing a deer. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, that buck looked like a 190 coming through the woods that morning. I mean, I was literally like, but it was public land. It was me by myself, living out of my truck. I'm like, dude, you're coming back to Ohio, and I skull mounted him, put him on this little freaking plaque, and people were like, oh, is that your first buck? I'm like, nah, I killed that a few years ago in Pennsylvania. They're like, really? I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, I worked my dick off for that deer.
Yep.
And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, made a sweet freaking shot. It was like 37, 38 yards, freaking quartering away, smoked him, watched him drop, freaking floated him in the canoe back. I mean, it was just a badass experience. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, really. And they're like, huh. And I'm like, I'm like getting all jacked telling the story. And they're like, man, when did you kill that? I'm like, a couple years ago. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, I'm like, yep. And like that was before, and this was back, before like the social media stages and taking 1,000 pictures. Like, dude, I don't even think I took one picture on that hunt. I didn't even have a camera with me. I had a flip phone. I mean, this is like probably, I don't know, I was probably like out of high school. I was probably like in like my early 20s. I mean, it was before literally it was just hunting. That's all it was. I wasn't going to get on the gram and post a photo. Yeah. Like, I wish I would have taken photos. I wish I would have done some cool shit because like it was cool being in the canoe and floating that deer and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was just a cool experience. Like, but like it was also cool though because literally I went over, I hunted, I killed a buck. I was pumped. I was jacked, made a great shot. It was on public. I come back. And that was before I had Onyx. I was literally using paper maps. Like,
oh yeah,
and I'm sure there's people right now going to be like, paper maps? What's that?
They make those still?
Yeah, paper maps. How old are you? 74? But like, I had to do it all on my own. Like, there was no guiding, no help, no one to like guide me or help me. It was just, I picked out a spot and I drove over to Pennsylvania and threw all my shit in my truck and was like, I'm going to go kill a deer with my bow. Here we go. And to me, it was a badass. Like, it was fun. I mean, that was like the whole point of going over there wasn't, well, it's got to be a 137 with 7-inch G3s or I'm not going to kill it. No, it was, I'm going to go over here and kill a buck. That's it. I wanted to say I killed 2 bucks that year and shot my Ohio buck, came back, and was like, now I'm going to go to public and I'm going to tackle that and I'm not going to come home to like kill a buck. I had like 7 or 8 days before season closed. So I was just like, you know what? Just going to frickin' hunt and see what happens. And, but yeah, I mean, that's still to this day, like that's one of my like fondest like hunting memories is killing that buck because I mean, I literally was beating my head against the tree after like the 3rd day because I mean, I just could not get into deer. I was getting my ass kicked so bad it was almost embarrassing to even think about.
Yeah. And honestly, man, I mean, the experience is what it's about. You shot a smaller buck. You're super proud of that buck. That's what it's about.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for all of our PA listeners, Clint Casper, the man who kills giant bucks and hunts out west and does everything that's like the cool thing to do right now. He's shooting small bucks in PA. I mean, be happy with what you're killing. And if you got those buddies that you're worried about them making fun of you because you shot a small buck, sounds to me like you might need some new hunting buddies.
Yeah, either that or you're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and I couldn't agree more with you, Clint. I mean, I know 3 years ago I shot my first buck with a bow. I've been hunting since I was 12. 3 years ago, shot my first buck with a bow in Pennsylvania. The week we were leaving to go on our out-of-state trip, we go to Ohio. 1 week later, I shoot another buck with my bow. I'm on cloud 9. Neither of those bucks probably topped 110 inches.
Yep.
But, dude, I was so jacked. I've never shot a buck with my bow. 2 bucks within exactly 1 week of each other on the ground. It was just like popping cherries and having parties. Dude, I was ecstatic. I couldn't have been happier. There was nobody in the world that could have put me down at that moment and told me, hey, man, I don't know why you shot that buck. I probably would have fist fought him. I mean, right there on the spot, beat the hell out of him because no one was taking my happiness away. It just wasn't happening.
Oh, for sure, man. Absolutely. 100%. And don't get me wrong, I love playing the big buck game. I mean, that's what gets me going is that chess match. And I mean, everyone that reads the articles or follows me or, listens to the podcast, I love to pick out particular deer that I like to find a buck and put a little frickin' check mark on him and follow him around until I get him killed. That's just the game that I like to play. I mean, but when you go on these out-of-state hunts and it just goes back to natural grassroots of, you know what? The first buck that comes through that I think is something that is worth my time or gets me pumped, game on. I mean, it's fun to go do those style of hunts, like where you don't know what's going to walk by. You don't know what's coming. You haven't run cameras. You haven't been glassing. It's just, like I hunt Kentucky a lot and, man, it's fun down there because it's just big woods, big timber, no ag, and you're just relying on topo maps and looking for funnels and looking for saddles and you're hunting these spots and you have no clue what's going to come through. I mean, it's, it could be a 150-inch 9-point or it could be a frickin' 7-point that comes up over the hill that's got a frickin' goofy looking rack that's really wide and, you're just like, oh, that's a cool looking buck. Yep, that'll work. I mean, it just, you don't know. I mean, you just, you're on those hunts and it's like there is no bar set. There is no, well, I'm looking for, Pitchfork to come by tonight. Hopefully he walks. You know what I mean? Like there is no, I hope Twin Towers comes through at 7 like he's been doing. Like there is no, no particular deer you're after. It's just, oh, hey man, let's go hunt this spot and
you're truly hunting back on what makes you happy and what gets you excited. That's what you're banking back on.
It's fun. That's one thing I love about turkey hunting. Like I'm a turkey hunting freak. I mean, usually every year I go to like Kansas and Nebraska and hunt out, west and then I move back east. I'll hunt Pennsylvania, I'll hunt Kentucky, I'll hunt Ohio. I love chasing birds around with my bow. And turkey hunting is so fun because literally, like for me, like if I can see a beard, it's a shooter. It's been a couple years since I've shot a Jake, but like people will be like, oh yeah, man, I popped over that hill and it was just all Jakes. And I'm like, so how many times did you shoot? And, oh, well, I didn't shoot. They were all Jakes. And I'm like, you didn't fling any arrows? Well, no, they're all Jakes. I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, I'm like,
Jakes have beards, right?
Yeah. I'm like, for me, like turkeys, like, I don't know. I mean, like I just like, the fast pace, like, I don't hunt with a blind, so I run and gun, with my bow. And I basically, get one located, try to get in close. Maybe, I call, but it's I have a very, very, very toned down, I guess you'd call it like calling sequence that I'll go through. Less is more, basically, is how I hunt turkeys. And, there's a lot of places I hunt's public and a lot of pressure. So if you're out there just freaking singing the turkey fucking tune all the time, like you'll never call a bird in because they just know that shit's not real. So I play the run and gun, like spot and stalk cat and mouse game with turkeys all the time. And like, dude, you let a Jake walk into me at 30 yards, that's gobbling or he's half strut or he comes sneak in, like, you know what I mean? Like, immediately, switch is flipped. I'm like, yep, you're about to die. Like, I mean, I just like, to me, that's fun. You know what I mean? Like it's all about the fun of just trying to get in undetected on those, but I've always often wondered this. How long will it be until turkey hunting is, well, Earl, judging off his spurs, I think he needs another year. I just don't quite think he's ready to be killed this year. We better let him walk. Like, I mean, I hope turkey hunting never goes to that.
Dude, I'm not
like,
going to kid you, but that has happened this year. A friend of ours had shot a Jake. I mean, he busted his ass. He hunted every day. He was not sleeping, going straight from work, straight out turkey hunting, busting his ass. He was with the shotgun.
Oh, yep.
Still could not get on birds. You know, he missed one up in the mountains, a couple bad breaks. And I mean, it was down to the wire, his very last hunt. And they call in this super Jake that just comes in acting like a straight Tom, just big bully of a bird. He puts it down. They post a picture. You know, someone else picks up the picture and posts on this forum, and he got all kinds of hate for shooting a Jake.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, what are you
really?
shooting the step fan for?
Yeah, I'm like, that's a thing in turkeys?
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, come on. I shot a Jake this year. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I might have missed the Tom, but
you know, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I love killing big ropes and I love big freaking hooks. I mean, honestly, you could throw the beards out the window. There's nothing better than getting on an inch and a quarter.
Couldn't
I've killed
agree
a couple
more.
that's
man.
I've killed a couple that's been in that, you know, push an inch and a half. I mean, I love those big old freaking hooks. But for me, if I can get within 30, 40 yards with the sharp stick of a legal freaking turkey, especially out of state where I might have 2 tags on public, let a Jake come in first morning and strut thinking he's a little badass. Yeah, you just come walking right on over here, buddy. We'll see how bad you are when I run this sever right through the front of your freaking chest. You know,
oh, man.
But there again, though, I mean, that's, you know, like I said, I mean, I just, you know, man, I love to bow hunt and, it's, you know, turkeys are just fun because it's like for me, I've never got into the, that Tom, his beard's only 8 or 9 inches. That's not quite what I'm looking for. I'm like, oh, you don't want to shoot that one? Okay, hold my beer. Watch me kill him. Oh, what's that? That one's not big enough for you? How far is he? Okay, hold on. Let me dial her down. Okay, hold this. I was like, okay, you don't want to kill that, Tom? I will.
Oh,
like,
man.
you know, I mean, I have more fun calling in birds for people or getting people on birds than I actually probably do killing them anymore because I've killed a freaking ton of them. And it's still fun, don't get me wrong, but I get more pumped over seeing somebody get excited because, I mean, people that have never turkey hunted and then you put a Tom in front of them or even a group of Jakes gobbling their faces off at 20 yards, like, it's exciting. I mean, turkey hunting is freaking fun. I mean,
yeah, man.
You know,
It's a blast,
it's a
dude.
blast. Like, oh yeah, like I love it. I mean, I tell people all the time, if you think turkey hunting is cool, like, add 1,300 pounds to one of them with a giant set of freaking antlers and go hunt elk screaming in September. And literally, your life will be mind blown and changed forever. Like, the first bull I ever killed in New Mexico was at 7 yards. And he come up this little draw, and I could see his tips coming, and I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna be right in my face. So I get back to full draw. He literally bugled at 7 yards facing me. I'm behind this little bush. He does not know I'm there. Like, the spit and saliva coming out when he was like chuckling and bugling, because he ripped off like 2 right in front of me. I mean, literally, like, it was hitting the bush that I was standing in. That I was like,
you were in the splash zone.
Yeah, like, I was like kneeling behind. I was on my knees at full draw, and this bull just he just freaking cuts loose. And there was another bull down below in this drainage that he was bugling back and forth with. And I heard this other bull cut loose, and my bull cuts him off. And then the other bull bugles again. So then this freaking bull, now he's getting pissed. He takes like 3 steps. Now he's in the wide open. And I actually shot him as he was letting this freaking bugle loose. But like, I'll never forget the first time that he bugled. I mean, literally, like, had that little bush not been there, he would have drenched me with freaking spit and saliva because, like, I mean, he was literally that close. Like, I could have, you know, literally killed him with a freaking spear and atlatl. I mean, like, literally, he was 7 steps. When I shot him, I buried it right to the fletching. When he took off to run, I had blood literally splattered, like, from where I was kneeling I could have reached out and touched where the like spots of blood actually landed when he turned into bolt and it like flung off of what would have been the entry hole. I mean, it was literally a few feet away from me. Like, it was nuts, dude.
Wow.
It was crazy. But that's the first, yeah, that was in the Gila Mountains in New Mexico. And,
the Gila, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard so much about the Gila.
Well, what's nuts is my buddy that was with me, he killed literally 30 minutes later, he killed the other bull that was bugling, which was a lot bigger. Mine was just a 6x5. Mine was a 6x5, basically just a satellite bull. But oh, shit, plenty big enough for me. He come up through there and I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, yep, that'll work. But my buddy, he killed, I think it was like what the hell was it? It was this big, heavy 6x6. I think he went mid 340s.
Dude, that's a solid bull, man.
Oh, dude, stud bull. Like,
that's a stud bull, man.
Stud bull, dude. Yeah, super heavy. Big old freaking swords, big old whale tails on the back. Like, oh yeah, dude, stud bull. He killed him like 30 minutes later. This was on our first morning, first day in there, dude. We killed 2 bulls within 30 minutes. They died within like 300 yards of each other.
Dude, that is freaking unheard of.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's freaking
It was
insane,
nuts,
man.
dude. It was nuts. It was nuts. Probably heard 1,000 bugles that morning, dude. Like, it was just we got right into the elk party, man. And, yeah, he's killed some studs out there. My buddy's killed, I think that was his 3rd bull out of the Gila. And I know he's got a 360, a 340, and I think his first one was like maybe a 310, 315. I mean, 3 studs. Oh yeah, dude. Like, just freaking, yeah.
Just
like
giants.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was, but yeah, that was crazy, dude. Like, that, if you think if turkey's screaming in your face, gobbling, get you pumped, go get out on an elk hunt and get an elk in front of you that rips loose. And I mean, literally, like, it'll be life-changing. Literally life-changing. You'll come home from that trip and be like, yep, I think I'm going to move to Montana now.
Yeah, man. I hope so, honestly. Like, I would love to get out west hunting. I've been out west and, I mean, probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6 states out there, like Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, all those places, like, camping and doing all that fun stuff. I have yet to be out there hunting yet, but all my family has. I'm just like the loser that hasn't got there yet.
But we are planning a 2020 trip for antelope in Wyoming.
Yep, we got to get our feet wet.
That'd be fun.
I'd like to get my feet wet and chase some antelope. I don't know if it's going to be with a gun or with a bow. I'd like to do it with a bow personally. I think, like you said, and listening to you today, like that makes so much sense just to get that experience under my belt and kind of get our feet wet and do it. But elk is the ultimate goal. It's just we did exactly what you're saying. We want to go through antelope to get on an elk. You know,
I'd love to go antelope, muley, elk is that's my ultimate goal, honestly. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, as of today and tomorrow in Pennsylvania is our elk expo, and they're actually drawing tags today and tomorrow for our season.
Wow. Okay,
so. You know, how awesome would it be right now if I got the archery elk season tag on my birthday?
That would be pretty dope.
So, I mean that'd be awesome.
Because literally you're going to get to hunt a 400-inch bull.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Dude, there's huge bulls in PA, man, and I got some preference points, so hopefully...
See, I go out in the spring with Bo Martonic, who you guys are buddies with.
Oh, I love Bo Martonic.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm like, oh, yeah, you get me and him together, and it is a complete shit show disaster. We hook up a couple times a year, and I go out there in the spring and hunt for elk sheds and stuff with him. And I think he's going to get out here this year, out here to Ohio, and do some whitey hunting with me. But dude, we covered. Oh man, I was out there for 3 days this year. I think it was 3 days. We put on like close to 50 miles.
Damn, dude.
Oh yeah. And then literally like the day after I left, him and his buddy got on some good ones. We didn't get on any elk sheds. Or no, yeah, we did. We got on one small one.
You found
we got
one,
on a few whiteys. But they got on a stud, and his dad or his uncle found a freaking giant match set like 3 days later. And I was just like, damn, man, I wish I'd have been around to freaking see those. But, oh, dude, just some giant bulls.
Total giants.
Giant bulls. But,
the Great American Outdoor Show had some sheds that were found in PA that were just stupid.
Dude, like 470 inches or something like that.
Ridiculous. And that was PA.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
dude.
Yeah.
Stud bulls, man. But that would be
For sure.
freaking awesome. But
That would be awesome.
yeah, you never
Oh,
know.
yeah. Yeah, dude, elks, yeah, it's fun. All that stuff's fun. You get to see so much country, and it's just such a different experience. I mean, like, I tell people all the time, I mean, 3/4 of the fun for me is just seeing, like, that part of the world, because it's just so different from back here in Ohio, Pennsylvania. I mean, it's just a totally different world you're living in.
I
Like,
couldn't agree more, man. I freaking love it out there.
I
And it's
mean,
probably
you know,
been like 2 or 3 years since I've been there, but it's just always in the back of my mind getting back
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. Like my parents go every year still, and
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
man, it's a whole new world.
Oh yeah, like I can't wait till, you know, the boys are a little older and I can freaking do some trips with them and do some different stuff, you know, some scouting
go.
trips and just some camping trips and just some different stuff with those guys.
Dude, I can only imagine your boys are going to be like freaking slayers, dude.
There'll be a couple little
Easton-
badasses.
Easton, he's my oldest and he's really getting into like checking cameras and, you know, and looking for deer, you know, and glassing. And so the other day he was at my mom and my dad's, I was at work and I got back and come over to pick him up, you know, and I'm loading up Keaton and he's my youngest. I'm loading him up in his car seat, you know, and he's asleep and Easton comes around backside the truck and he's got a play set, like a swing set outside. It's like a small little cabin looking like deal with like a slide and it's got like a little loft on top that, you know, my mom and dad bought these. It's like a fake big pair of like binoculars, like kids binoculars that you like mount on it. So then he can act like he's in like a lookout tower. Well, he had my mom unscrew these. So he comes around the backside of the truck and he's got these binoculars. He's like, hey, we gotta go look for big bucks tonight. And I'm like, how'd you break that off? And he's like, I didn't. He's like, I had Mama unscrew it. He's like, I got my binoculars ready. He's like, I'm ready to go. He's like, we need to leave Keaton here so we can go look for bucks. And I'm like, well, you know, he wanted, cause, you know, I never take the little guy usually with us, obviously, because, you know, he's so little. So, oh yeah, he was like all hell bent. He's like, I got my big binoculars because I always call, you know, I got a big set of Mavens 11x45s that I run and I'll put those on a tripod because they're easier for him to look through than my spotter.
How do you like those Mavens, by the way?
Oh, dude. Love them. Love them.
Dude, I've been so interested in those, and I've been running loopholes for a long time.
Love
and I
them.
like them, but I'm really interested in those.
They sent me the 11x45s and that new S2 spotter that only weighs like 32 ounces. So I'm going to run both. I'm going to run both those this year on all my hunts. But see, last few years I was running 12x50 Razor HD Vortex and really liked them.
Vortex are great optics.
Yep, I pretty much ran them. They were in my bino harness all the time. I mean, that's what I used out west, whitetail season, turkey hunting. I mean, it's overkill for that stuff, but I mean, there was no reason for me to switch them. I mean, I you know, and these Mavens, dude, for the money, price point wise, and I mean, by no means I'm not getting no kickback. I'm not getting freaking paid by Maven or anything. I mean, I get to test gear and I get to, you know, use product and stuff and whatnot from companies and shit, but by no means am I going to get paid for what I'm about to say by any means. This is just strictly my own assessment. You could throw them on a tripod beside Swarovski and Zeiss and honestly not notice much of a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, they are about, I would say for the money. I don't know if you can beat Maven for the money.
Okay.
Now, if you are the guy that can buy a spotter for $4,000, yeah. I mean, Swarovski is, I mean, that is the standard.
Yes.
But you'll have $3,900 in that spotter. You know, I mean, it's just,
that could pay for an elk trip.
Yeah. But I'll tell you right now, for weight, for what I do, the backpack hunts, backcountry, where weight is a big deal because it's, you know, ounces equal pounds and pounds are frickin' what kills you in the high altitude in the high country.
Exactly.
That S2, it's a 12x27. You put that thing on a tripod, in conjunction with those 11x45s or just run the 11x45s on a frickin' tripod. Oh, dude. The crisp, like, they're so crisp and the light gathering is so good on those that, I mean, honestly, I don't even know. Man, a guy could probably just run those 11x45s and not even bring a spotter. I mean,
Yeah.
they're now, if you're at the level where you're going to be counting inches, or you want to know for sure how big this muley buck is bedded at 2 miles, then yeah, you'd want your spotter. But I potentially will probably run those binos on my tripod and do a ton of glassing with that. And then once I pick a buck or a bull out, throw the spotter on and get some good phone scope footage of him, really pick him apart, try to see what other animals are close by him, but I guarantee you, dude, I'll run those 11x45s a ton on that tripod. I mean, they're just, I was blown away when they sent those to me when I first got them out and started using them. I mean, I've seen them. I mean, Bo's had them for the last couple of years. And I mean, I've used them, and I mean, I've always known, oh yeah, these are freaking good. And I mean, they're that next up and coming company that honestly is going to really take the optic world by storm once people realize how good they really are. Once I got to actually use them and start glassing with them and really, really like picking apart country, looking for whitetails and stuff around here with them. Yeah, dude, they are freaking legit. Like, if you can get your hands on some of those, man, like there is no doubt in my mind you will be satisfied for sure.
Yeah, well, and it goes a long way too when you're hunting out west, and like you said, you're looking for a particular animal that you need to see detail on. Yeah,
glass, yeah, like no offense. I mean, you can run $100 pair of Bushnell 10x42s. Nothing against Bushnell, but you can run them here in Ohio or PA, and that would be okay.
Yep,
because
I run Bushnell.
you're looking at a couple hundred yards.
Yeah,
out west, you would literally burn your eyes out after day one looking through that glass.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's days where I might sit on a vantage point all day and move around in a circle, glassing north slope, south slope, move 100 yards, just trying to get different angles off of different vantage points. I might spend 6-7 hours literally looking through glass. If you don't have the best glass you can afford, you literally will burn your eyes out. I mean, and if you can't glass out there, you're in trouble. Because if you think you're just going to pick stuff out with the naked eye, or you're just going to stumble into stuff, that's not how that game works out there. I mean, you've got to be able to glass. And if you can't glass effectively, and you can't do it without having your eyes burn out or water, or you start getting double vision, I mean, not all glass is created equal. And as most people know, the better the glass, the easier the strain is on your eyes. The out west deal, you're better off to have the most expensive pair of binos you can afford and no spotter than to have just an average pair of binoculars and an average spotter. Because literally, you'll be able to sit behind that good pair of binoculars longer and better and glass better than you ever will with just, a spotter and a binocular set that's lower quality, lower grade. I mean, it's, and for low light and stuff, man, a lot of times out west, like that first 30, 40 minutes and the last 30, 40, some of those big bucks and big bulls, dude, like that's honestly the only time you're going to actually find. Sometimes that's all those big bucks or bulls are going to give you, is the opportunity to find them then. And then you got to kind of keep track of them as they go to bed and whatnot. So it's like, without good optics, man, it definitely makes it tough out there. But yeah, dude, Maven is, I'm going to be doing a big review for them coming up on the binos and that new spotter they got. I'll probably post it on, social media and then, do something with them for their website or something. But, yeah, dude, I am thoroughly, like I was impressed when they first come out and I saw their stuff at the Great American Outdoor Show, a couple years ago. And now that I've actually got to really run them, oh yeah, dude, they're legit, no doubt.
Dude, that is awesome, man. Now, Clint, we're running a little close on time here.
Yep.
But for those people that want to find you on social media and stuff like that, can you let them know where they can find you?
Yeah, so Casper Clint, my last name and my first name, all together. Casper Clint, on Instagram, Facebook's just Clint Casper. Like I said, I mean, writing wise, Peterson's and Deer Hunting and Bow Hunter, Eastman's Bow Hunting Journal. Do a ton of stuff with my buddies over at Working Class Bow Hunter podcast. Do a lot of blog work for them. Camo Collar blog. Do a bunch of stuff with, Bo over at, East Meets West and his blog. I've been called the podcast whore. I'm kind of all over the place. I like doing them. They're fun. I love jumping on, East Coast bow hunting podcast, Eastman's Elevated with my buddy Brian Barney, Where to Hunt. I'm kind of all over the map, man. It's fun to, it's fun to get asked to come on and, meet everybody and talk to guys. And it's fun to see them at shows and stuff. So yeah, I kind of float all around, man. It's just, I love to talk bow hunting and love to, chit chat with like-minded guys and shit. So, and it gives me a reason to crack open a bush light at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday like today. So,
boy.
Yeah, I think we covered.
Realistically, I can't be me and I can't podcast like me if I don't have a bush light. That's just not, I won't be able to operate, but.
I thought I'd show up today with a coffee or an energy drink coffee, and
yeah,
I walk in, I get immediately Twisted Tea right in the face, chug it, and bush light from there on out. And it's like,
and we got a
all right.
stack of them sitting here, bro.
It's Clint Casper Saturday. I understand what's going on here.
That's a new hashtag, by the way. Clint Casper Saturdays.
Saturdays are for Clint Casper, not the boys anymore. But dude, yeah, man. We probably didn't cover a single thing that I wanted to talk to you about on early season or summer scouting. And this is the best way I've ever seen this episode going. I've been waiting to have you on, Clint, for a long time. Love your stuff. Love what you do, man. And we got to have you back on and talk some real whitetail tactics and really dive deep, because you are, an unbelievable knowledge when it comes to that kind of stuff with playing the wind and buck bedding and everything else. So we'll get you back on again, man, and we'll have you on and maybe chat some good knowledge as well.
Yeah, no, man, I appreciate the kind words and support. And, yeah, man, I enjoy coming on. It's, you never know how they're going to go. You have like I've got like a plan of attack on what we want to talk about. And then you get on and everybody starts talking and it's like, you're like, wait a minute, man, we didn't really cover anything I wanted to cover on this.
Yep.
but
and I don't care.
Yep. No shit's given.
No, man, I'll definitely get back on. And, we can, I guess we'll have to follow like a strict rule book for ourselves. We'll have to say, okay, we're
negative.
Yeah, that'd be doing you an injustice.
Yeah. Well, that's where I was going with that. I was going to be like, yeah, it's a strong, strict rule, but yeah, we'll throw that thought out the window. But yeah, no, I know it's getting close and guys are getting geared up. Velvet will be coming off here before long and different things and whatnot. And, yeah, it's a fun time of year, man. There's definitely, just real quick. I mean, if I was to throw just a little tidbit of advice out there, I mean, if you're not focused on patterns yet, or you're not looking at trying to figure patterns out, now would be the time. I've had a ton of guys message me lately about trail cam photos and how to dissect those. And, best 2 cents I can throw out there, or what I do is I'm looking at daylight or very close to daylight within 10-15 minutes of my target bucks, and marking down wind, moon, weather. And dude, you're gonna find a pattern. There will be a pattern there. I can't think of his name, but just had a guy message me the other day. He's like, dude, pulled cards, graphed it all out like you said. And he's like, this buck is literally only hitting daylight on an east wind. He's like, literally only hitting day. And I'm like, dude, he's betting somewhere that east wind's allowing him to feel safe getting to wherever your camera is. I'm like, you got to figure out now where that's at, like why that driving factor is there. But I'm telling you, it does. Like those patterns will form. And it does work. Patterns kill big deer. Like, I mean, yeah, it takes luck and yeah, it takes skill to make a shot, blah, blah, blah. But dude, to get big bucks in front of you, patterns kill big deer. I'm telling you, early season, I love it, man. I'm kind of cringing a little bit because I'm going to probably miss our opener.
Oh no.
Because I'm going to be I can't bitch too much. I'm going to be in Idaho chasing bugles around. So I mean, I can't I feel so bad for myself.
I don't feel bad for you, man.
No, Clint Casper's life's horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely, man, start putting together those patterns off of the trail cam pics and guys that are out glassing. And pay attention to the direction those bucks are coming into fields and start marking that down with the wind. And I'm telling you, the patterns will form. And, stuff's going to change when velvet comes off and bucks shift and bucks move and new bucks come and, blah, blah, blah. But there will be patterns form. And I mean, you will figure out, what spots these bucks like to use in daylight and where they like to bed. And then it's just a matter of, kind of sort of fine tuning your moves from there. But yeah, man, that first week of season, first 10 days, you get a cold front, get the right moon phase. I mean, everybody knows I'm a big moon guy. So, this year is going to be pretty good come that late September, early October, man. There's going to be, and then right around Halloween's going to be some red moon days.
Halloween's my favorite time, man.
Oh, we can't even get going on that right now or I'll be another 2 hours. But yeah, dude, everybody talks about the October law and blah, blah, blah. Dude, that's such bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too, man.
I'll take October all day long over November. All day.
You and me both, brother.
Take it all day, but we'll save that for another time. But hey, man, can't thank you guys enough for having me on, and we will try to divert next time to a few more specific topics. It'll probably just turn into random rambling like this time, but it was fun nonetheless.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude, thanks so much for coming on.
Yep.
Absolutely, fellas. Appreciate it, my man.
Well, a huge thanks again to Clint Casper for coming on the podcast. He is the man. I know we talked for so long and took up so much of his afternoon, but we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really took up his entire morning and afternoon, I think.
Yeah. We talked for a while. It was fun as hell though, man. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah, we're actually looking to maybe get him back on real soon and try to talk before the season starts. We'll see what we can do with our schedules, but just a little teaser that we're going to try to get him back on and talk whitetails again for, maybe another couple hours. Who knows?
Yeah, man, I'd be down for that.
Absolutely, and he's going to be just getting back also from his hunt out west, chasing muleys in Colorado, so he should have a lot to talk about.
Definitely. Well, everybody go check out his social media on Facebook, Instagram, all those fun places. You can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Go Wild, Twitter, at the Whitetail Distraction Podcast. Send us a little review on iTunes. We'd appreciate it. We'll send you a sticker.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any of those yet, so the stickers are still plentiful.
Yeah, we got a bunch of those. And we also have hats available for anybody who still wants a hat. We still have those going on. We got t-shirts still. And, if you just, we want to hear from you guys. If you just want to say hi or recommend a guest or something, we're always down for it.
Absolutely. And you want to come on and be a guest too. You got to think about that. I mean, we're always taking guys from local areas or anywhere really. We'll talk to anybody. We said this from the start. We will talk to anybody on this podcast. We don't care. And, pretty soon here too, we might be coming at you with a new segment that me and Austin are working on. And I think it's going to be super cool.
I do too, man. I'm excited for it.
And stay tuned next week as well. Next week's episode is going to be really cool. And there could be a little surprise in that episode. So stay tuned for that one.
It's going to be a gooder, number 50.
Number 50. It's the big 5-0. We're going big.
I like it, man. I like it. All right. Well, you get back to softballing.
Yeah, I don't want to get hit by a foul ball or anything. I'm going to go ahead and go back in the dugout and drink some beer.
Attaboy. Well, until next week, the distraction is real.
The distraction is real.